A single burst echoes, not straight ahead, but around the edge of stone. No rifle visible, no shooter in sight, only the strange hiss of bullets curving through space. In the final years of the Second World War, German industry turned to experiments that defied logic and physics alike. Among them, a barrel bent by design. A weapon intended to let its owner see nothing, yet hit everything. It was called the Krummlauf. By 1943, the tide of war had turned. The Eastern Front was collapsing into blood and rubble. Soviet forces pushed westward, forcing combat into streets, factories, and the narrow ruins of occupied cities. Within these urban labyrinths, close-quarters fighting became a form of suicide. Every exposed elbow, every shadowed movement drew fire. For the German infantrymen, trapped in alleys and shattered stairwells, survival depended on invisibility. From that desperation emerged the Krummlauf, a curved barrel extension for the Sturmgewehr 44, the world's first true assault rifle, a concept so unusual it bordered on impossible, a rifle that could see around a corn. The Krummlauf existed in several forms, each one a study in wartime ingenuity and mechanical defiance. A short steel tube, threaded to fit the muzzle of the STG-44, its front half bent at calculated angles, 30, 45, 60, even 90 degrees. Inside, the rifling was twisted along the curve, attempting to guide the bullet through the bend without shattering it. A small mirror sight sat above, giving the soldier a reflected view of whatever lay beyond the corner. To a modern eye, the weapon looks more like a piece of plumbing than a firearm. Yet in test ranges and controlled trials, it functioned, for a time. Each shot carried immense stress through the bend, the projectile grinding against the inner wall. Fragments often tore away, scattering molten metal from the muzzle. The lifespan of the attachment could be measured not in months or years, but in bullets. Roughly 300 rounds for the 30-degree version, barely 150 for the 45. The 90-degree prototype, a curiosity more than a tool, rarely survived a full magazine. Accuracy was limited to close range. At distances beyond 50 meters, impacts wandered unpredictably, spiraling out of control. The barrel itself glowed after brief bursts, heat trapped by the curve, pressure building against its structure. For tank crews, special versions were mounted through small armoured ports, creating a defensive weapon against infantry creeping too close to strike with grenades. Inside the dim steel of German armour, the curved barrel allowed unseen fire, a psychological edge in moments of claustrophobic fear. Yet outside the factories and testing grounds, reality intruded. Each attachment demanded precision machining and specialized metals Germany could no longer afford. Production lines fractured under bombing raids, materials dwindled, and the battlefield consumed men faster than innovation could replace them. When Allied engineers later examined the recovered devices, disbelief was their first reaction. A bent barrel seemed absurd, a contradiction of physics and logic, but there it was, a weapon born from desperation, as remarkable as it was impractical. The Krummlauf represented more than just engineering ambition. It reflected the mindset of a regime cornered, where innovation became survival, and every failed idea was still one more attempt to slow defeat. In tests, the device functioned, but never flourished. Its concept belonged not to battlefields, but to laboratories, to a nation still dreaming of technological miracles even as its cities burned. Today, a few examples of the Krummlauf remain. Warped metal resting behind glass in military museums. Visitors pause before them, puzzled by the shape, intrigued by the idea. To some, it stands as proof of German engineering genius. To others, as evidence of the madness that overtakes innovation when war erases restraint. The curved rifle was not the weapon of victory, it was the weapon of collapse. A final, distorted echo of a nation trying to bend the laws of physics as it bent the truth of its own survival. In the silence of those exhibits, the Krummlauf sits as it once was, silent, twisted, impossible. A relic of a time when ingenuity met desperation and the future of warfare took a sudden, impossible turn.